What's going on, guys? DigiDestin here, back in with another pickup video for you. This week we have 2 weeks worth of pickup videos because last week I didn't post anything. That was just because of my sister's wedding. That took up the entire week, but that didn't mean I didn't get a chance. A double negative there, but I did get a chance to go out and do a little bit of hunting in between those wedding events. So the first thing I did during that weekend was go to an estate sale. It was an estate sale full of incredible games. They had boxed N64 games. I know they had Sunset Riders there. Another stack of Super Nintendo games, a box Super Nintendo, all this crazy stuff. They had Wavebird controllers for the GameCube, a GameCube with like the LCD screen, all that great stuff. But unfortunately, I didn't get there early enough. I was like 8th in line, and the first two people essentially grabbed it all. And of course, they had multiple hands and multiple bodies, so they were able to grab more. But they were able to get a great deal, but I did manage to make it out with some things. That's pretty cool here. We got a couple or a few DS cases. So we got Mario Kart DS, and these are just the cases, no games unfortunately. I don't know where the games went. Mario & Luigi Bowser's Inside Story. And then we have Super Mario DS, and I was able to get these just because they're the case only. I was able to get these for $1 each at the estate sale. So any DS cases, especially for Mario games, for $1 each is an extremely good deal. Decided to pick them up anyway. Aside from those, I was able to pick up some other things, not necessarily retro, but gaming related. First thing is this very dusty Xbox One controller. This one's the Day 1 edition, so Day 1 2013. That was pretty cool. I mean, it's a little bit better than standard, I guess. It's a little bit of a special edition. I don't think it's worth anything more than a standard Xbox One controller, but I do need more Xbox One controllers, so that's why I picked this one up. Alongside that, we had two other Xbox One controllers. Looks like the person originally bought them from GameStop. These ones are $8 each. The price tag is pretty faded, but you probably won't be able to see that. But yeah, the estate sale had these priced at $8 each. This one was priced at $6. So I was able to get essentially three Xbox One controllers for what's that? 22 bucks. And then spent an additional $3 on those DS cases. So pretty solid finds there. I had a great time conversing with some of the people there. My buddy Stilo999 was there. He's got a YouTube account. I can leave a link in the description below. Check him out. But yeah, he was there. He was able to get some stuff. So good on him. Next finds of last weekend. So for my sister's wedding, we stayed in a hotel. And conveniently, it was located right across the street from a Goodwill, essentially, or maybe like a block away. And I went there in the morning right when they opened, just because I had to pick up a brown belt, and lo and behold, they actually had video games there in the display case. So they had some NES titles, some Super Nintendo titles, but only one of them caught my eye. You know, they had like Super Mario All Stars for like 20 bucks, Super Mario Bros for like 20 bucks, and Batman for 20 bucks, so on and so forth. But there was one game that caught my eye. It was Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers. Pretty solid Capcom title, and this one was 10 bucks. You know, it's a little bit high. It's a little bit closer to the going rate, but this one's in excellent condition. It's just very cool to see NES games back in Goodwill. I don't know if they're going to continue to keep carrying them or they keep sending them off to auctions, but it was nice to see this, and I decided since I was there anyway, you know, when in Rome, spend the $10, pick up Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers. I also found another thing at that Goodwill, same morning. It's a very cool Pokemon Pikachu camera. It's got this little yellow lanyard there, also says Pokemon on it. And this one was priced at $5.99. But the green tags were on sale, so I was able to get this for like $2. Like $2 or $3, I don't remember, it was last week. But yeah, these came from Goodwill. Awesome finds. I was really excited about it, and on top of that, I was able to find a brown belt that actually fit me. Alright, so this next pickup is actually from a buddy of mine, another YouTuber, JuicyJ1. You can go check out his YouTube channel. I'll leave a link down below. He took a trip not too long ago to Europe. I think it was Ireland to be specific, but he ended up walking into a few retro game stores, some specialty used electronics stores, and he happened to find something that was kind of interesting, something that was European exclusive. He thought of me and he was able to pick it up for me. It's pretty cool. It's an N64 title. It is Lilac Wars. So this is Lilac Wars. For those of you who are familiar with the game, it looks very similar to Star Fox 64, and that's because it is Star Fox 64. This is what they called Star Fox 64 in Europe, and so he thought it was pretty novel, thought it was pretty cool, so he thought of me, picked it up, and gave it to me as a little souvenir. So thank you very much, Juicy J1. It's very cool. If you're wondering about the compatibility between this game and like a US version, or if you want to play it on your US console, you know, it does say Lilac Wars on the title screen. The back part itself is essentially the only limitation stopping you from playing it in the US console. The backs are very different, these tabs here, so if you can manage to swap out the back, you should be able to plug this into your US console and play it. Alright, and at the time of this video, Seattle Retro Gaming Expo 2018 is actually going on right now. It's June 16th and 17th, and I was able to go for a little bit. I could only stay for a little bit just because I had to, go to my cousin's graduation at very busy times now. But there, I visited with a bunch of buddies of mine, some people I met up with, and it was very nice to see them, very nice to talk to them. But I was able to pick up some stuff as well. And the first thing I want to show you is very cool, very, very cool. It's from my buddy. This was actually found at Goodwill, and he posted it up on Instagram. It's actually Retro Edition. Retro Edition Games, you can check him out. I'll leave a link to all his accounts down below. He's a super cool dude. But he found this at Goodwill. It is a Mario Paint hat. Look at that. It's a little frayed on the edge. It's a little bit dirty, like towards the side here. But it's very, very cool. He posted it up. I knew I wanted it immediately. He couldn't get to it because he had to go to work, but he found another mutual buddy of ours to go pick it up for me. And we were able to meet up at Seattle Retro Gaming Expo this past weekend. And essentially they passed it off to me or got it to me just like I wanted. But very, very cool. I've never seen this before. They said they'd seen a couple going on eBay for quite a bit of money, but either way, I'm not going to be selling this thing. This thing's going right into my collection. This is a very, very cool piece of Nintendo memorabilia. Another thing I want to show you, since I mentioned Seattle Retro Gaming Expo, these were the passes this year. I think the same as last year's big old discs here. I don't even know what it goes for, but sponsored by the Living Computers Museum and Labs. Pretty cool. Just a Saturday pass. I only went one day. Alright, and I mentioned that I spoke and met up with a whole bunch of people. One of them being one of my good buddies of mine, Castlemania Games. Castlemania Games is a great guy, run by one guy, and it's a great store. He's a great retail store. He's got your retro fighters, controllers, accessories, retro controllers, accessories, brand new reproductions. I know Holy Diver's coming out pretty soon. They got the new R-Type returns, so it's R-Type 3 and Super R-Type together in a combo cart. All that great stuff that he carries. He even has the HD Retrovision cables, but I'll leave a link down below. Check him out. But I was able to stop by his booth and I was able to pick up a couple things. First thing, the Goonies 2 for NES. Never played this game, but I do like the Goonies. One of my favorite movies. I don't know why, but it's a really feel-good movie. Very adventurous, very fun, and I was hoping the game would be something like that, so I picked this up, got a good deal on it. But on top of that, he was able to throw in some of these 1-up cards. So I've mentioned 1-up cards in my videos before, and he is your source for 1-up cards. These ones are this Game Boy specific ones, so they're smaller, and you can just put, rubbing alcohol on one side, the fluid side, and there's a dry side. So then you'll clean your contacts with it in your game. So the fluid side first, get your pins nice and wet, and then you hit it with the dry side and gives them a nice polish so you can get your games playing in one good old try. So 1-up cards and the Goonies 2 from Castlemania Games. The next pickup is from another buddy of mine, Stupid Geeks Inc. He's most known for his ability to make repros, so he sells a lot of reproduction games on NES, SNES, and N64. So definitely check out his store. I'll leave a link down below as well. But he deals in a lot of those repros, but he also has a lot of import games. And as I was thumbing through these tubs of import games, he had one that caught my eyes. Nothing special. I've never seen it before. I've never heard of it, but there's the cover art is actually what caught my attention. I was able to get it for $4. That's what he had on it. But on the very front, it's a racing game. Right there, that car right there is a Toyota Supra, and then we have a Nissan Skyline. The Toyota Supra is actually what caught my eye. It's actually one of my favorite cars. Ever since I was growing up, getting into cars, playing Gran Turismo, it was essentially my dream car. And so I saw that on the cover of this game. I was like, man, I gotta have it. I gotta give it a try. And it's $4 anyway. Might as well just pick it up and see what it's all about. If not, it would look nice on the shelf behind me. The next pickup is from Gamebound Video Games. Also a very cool guy. Runs a small little shop, but he's got a bunch of quality titles. I don't know, it's crazy. I always love dealing with him. He's a super nice dude. But I found this game, and it's purchased more or less as a joke, just because it was one of the games that you see and you're like, this game has got to be horrible. This is like probably the worst game that I've ever seen, just by judging it based off its cover art. So this one's called Starwinder: The Ultimate Space Race for PlayStation. Look at that cover art. How amazing is that? And apparently it's all like 3D rendered graphics. I don't know what it's about. It says real-time rendered 3D universe with 6-axis flight control. Race against the galaxy's most dangerous drivers on the blank 40 different space rails. It was blank because it's covered, but either way, I just picked this up because I'd never seen this before. It looks kind of funny. I don't know. I might give it a try and see what it's all about. Definitely interesting pickup here. Alright, and the last pickup is from another buddy of mine. I always go to these conventions and expos to meet up with friends of mine. Retro Edition Games. He's an awesome dude, always super friendly, always a pleasure to deal with, and he always ends up finding stuff that I want. So, a few things here. We got 3 games here. One of my close friend's brother ended up moving out of state, and he ended up giving away part of his collection to his brother, or my friend, and he asked me to look for some games that he couldn't live without, essentially. So I was able to track down these games. Retro Edition had them. We have Super Mario Sunshine, Contra, Shattered Soldier, and Jet Grind Radio, and he was able to give me a really good deal on these, so I could pass this along to my friend's brother, and I'm sure he'll greatly appreciate that. So this one's thanks to Retro Edition Games. Alright, and the last thing that I picked up from Retro Edition was actually for myself. It's something I've been looking for quite a while, actually, almost ever since I started collecting Game Boy Colors, and this has been years. It's the last Game Boy Color that I wanted for my collection. It is a Pokemon Pikachu Game Boy Color, the original one. I have the gold version, but all I needed was this yellow version with the blue back. Very cool, great shape. He had it priced for $65. He was able to cut me a deal with it, but even then, $65 is a great deal considering some of the prices that were floating around the convention. I saw them going for $80, $90, so on and so forth. So this gives you a little bit of perspective for the way that Retro Edition prices his stuff. It's very, very reasonable. But thanks to him, he was able to hook this up, and now I have all of the Game Boy Colors that I would ever want. So thank you, Retro Edition. I really appreciate it. Thank you for always being a great guy and hooking up people with deals. On top of that, actually, I should mention, he gave me this bubble gum, this Kirby bubble gum. I don't know where he got it, but he knows I like Kirby. Either way, I'm going to give it a try. I think it's bubble gum. It's Japanese, but I'm going to give it a try, and we'll see how it is. Alright, and I know I said that was my last pickup, but technically this is my last pickup. I don't know how to classify it. It's something that I haven't had in my possession for a long time, and I mentioned it in one of my earliest videos. It is my Sharp Twin Famicom. Finally, this is the first time it's ever been on camera. This is the, I forgot what the serial number is. It's the AN505, which means this is the turbo version. So it's got the turbo buttons on the controllers, as you can see there. It's a little bit harder to find, but the story behind this was I was able to find this on, I think it was Craigslist, and the guy wanted $80 for it. He does storage auction sales, and he was able to pick this up. He had no idea what it was. He had the power adapter for it as well, but I ended up picking it up from him. And because of the low cost, I brought it home. I plugged in a game. The game didn't really work. The glitches, or the sprites, were a little bit glitchy, and so I reached out to another friend of mine who has an expertise in fixing consoles, and so he was able to swap out some graphical chips in here, I think some GPUs, PPUs, and make the Famicom side work perfectly. There's also a Famicom disk system built in, so that's why they call it the Famicom Twin, or Twin Famicom. But this hardware in here for the disk system is pretty finicky, and so over time the belts essentially melt, they go bad, and then when you replace them, it's got to be recalibrated, and if you don't calibrate it right, all the games don't read like you would want them to. But he spent over a year playing around with this thing, just trying to get it perfect to read every single game, and from what I've been told, he's able to do it and accomplish it, so thank you so much. And all I had to do was pay him for the cost of parts. But I'm really excited to have this back. It's been, I think, over a year or so. But I mean, he hasn't been working on it constantly. I haven't been like nagging him or pushing him to do it, but the fact that he spent so much time and so much dedication trying to get this fixed for me means a lot to me. So thank you so much, and you know who you are. I don't want to say your name on the internet, but yeah, I'm really excited to have this back in my possession. If everything works well, this thing will probably replace my original US console. I'll just get like a converter for NES titles, the US NES titles. And those were all my pickups for this week. I know it was a little long-winded, but we had 2 weeks of pickups packed into one. Thank you so much for being understanding viewers. Thank you so much for supporting me. I really appreciate it. But if you did like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Check out some of my other videos. Check out all those great people that I mentioned in my video today down below. So give him some love. I know Retro Edition also has a YouTube channel, so check him out. He's still putting out videos weekly, I believe. So super cool dude. But anyway, yeah, with that being said, we'll see you guys on the next one.